when you're skinnier and better looking, people have like a subconscious like, oh, he's good looking. Well, let's see if he's funny.
Yeah.
Or if you're fat, I feel like people are more like, come on, give him this. He's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you talking about, bro? I'm the top G. If you don't say I'm the top G, I'll come in your face, bro. That's it. That's the next shit show. It's Miguel Miércoles versus Andrew Tate. All right, settle down.
I know. Yo, remember the family that fucks each other?
The Sherberts? Yes. Yes. I love the Sherberts.
You're pitching mile-an-hour fastballs, dude.
I'm trying.
You're trying. Yeah, I wish... my cousin just got engaged, if you want to talk about family shit. Yeah, my cousin
I'd love to talk about your cousin
Oh,
getting
fuck.
engaged.
Come on, ass. I'm just trying to relate to you, dude. Oh, man. It's like talking to a fucking wall with you, dude. Jesus.
Isn't it funny? I think it's funny that I started a podcast.
Yeah.
On account of how bad I am at conversations.
Yeah. You like to defeat conversations. You don't even like to win conversations. You
I like to end them very quickly.
Yeah.
I'm really good at ending conversations.
Yeah, if you could win or lose a conversation, you've never won a conversation. And you don't want to win a conversation. That's what I like about you.
Well, what is winning a conversation?
I don't even know.
Because I don't feel like it's a competition. I feel like it's
Thank you. Appreciate it.
people that like conversations and like people, what is winning to them is winning together.
Yeah.
It's we had a good conversation, and that is a social win for me. That's the only way I can think of it. But I don't feel like you just lead a conversation so good. And like someone who's a great conversationalist goes and like asks a guy a lot of questions, really gets him talking and feeling good about himself in the interaction. And then he walks away. And the guy that was like really good at asking the questions and get the other person talking walks away from that. I just fucking won. I just wiped that loser clean.
I think that was
barely even had to talk.
I think that was me in my first year of comedy where I felt like I had to win people over. Like whether it was like charisma or like being super funny, like there was no way I could be myself in a conversation. I felt like, at least when I started doing stand up.
Right. I can't remember because you used to say that you're Jewish and autistic, and I can't remember which one's the lie.
Oh, it was the autism part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't have a handler or anything like that. I'm not.
That
on
would
the
make
spectrum.
sense because of the Jewish part that you would lie about something.
Yeah.
Welcome to Jew Anon, ladies and gentlemen.
So, what do you think about 21 Jump Street?
I mean,
did you like it?
It made me second think these Yeezys on my feet. That's for sure.
Really? You're so anti-Semitic. You couldn't enjoy 21 Jump Street. Or do you think what's a movie if you had to show
I'm
like a
scared to look at it because I'm scared it will fix my anti-Semitism. If it fixed Kanye's, then I just don't want to go down that road. Like, you know how like people that really don't like Hitler, right?
Yes.
And are very against the Holocaust.
Yes.
How they're like probably afraid to crack open Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
This is like the opposite. This is like what like 21 Jump Street is the opposite of Mein Kampf.
It's, you know what it's like? It's like watching like a Klansman documentary and you're afraid to become racist. You're already racist.
Yeah, you're afraid to hear what if they have a point.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to go on record and say they probably don't, but I don't know because I'm afraid to find out.
I think that's a good thing to be on the record about. I don't know. You know what I watched? Not recently. You know what I fucking hated? Speaking of racist movies, American History X. Have you seen it? You've seen that, right? With the Tony Kaye movie about Edward Norton plays a skinhead?
No.
You never seen that shit? It's a good movie. But there's one part in the movie where they're playing like pickup basketball in like Venice Beach, California. And it's like a bunch of neo-Nazis versus like a bunch of like athletic black dudes in like near like South Central. Like, of course they're gonna win, but like the neo-Nazi for the movie, the neo-Nazis, Edward Norton is so good at basketball. And I looked up Edward Norton. He's like 5'11" or 5'10". No way is he dunking behind his head. I'm sorry, I'm going into my own little like fucking autistic rambling here. But you got what I mean though? Like it's unrealistic. That's what I'm getting at.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't follow any of that. I'm not even sure. Did the Nazis or the black guys win
the white guys? The Nazis won.
The Nazis won?
Yeah. Right.
At basketball?
Yeah.
What movie is this again? American History X.
Yeah. I can't believe you haven't seen it. You're such a film connoisseur.
Well, you just spoiled it for me. You told me the whole thing.
Well, it's not the whole thing. That's just a scene in it.
I now imagine that whole movie is a basketball movie.
No, it's not about. There's one basketball scene in it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, do you have any burning questions in your heart?
Burning questions? I've been a fan of creativity theory. I've had you on the podcast before. I'm just fucking saying shit that'll move this podcast along.
I actually re-listened to our episode.
The Jew Anon episode?
Yeah. Just yesterday.
What do we mostly talk about? You talked about SR a lot.
Yeah, I talked about cum a lot. Like not coming. And in fact,
TM as well.
I don't think I talked about meditation too much on that one. But it was interesting hearing how bad I was at talking. And I literally started the podcast by telling you I just jacked off 3 times today.
Yeah.
I'm now at like my longest streak of not coming.
Nice. I can see it, dude. I can see it in your art and shit, and you're focused.
Thanks, dude.
Of course.
I did just go to Shake Shack though and spend like $40.
Oh no.
That doesn't feel good, but I'm
Where's our Shake Shack? Drop the location.
Like 15 minutes from me. There's a few Shake Shacks around the Triangle area. There's one in Cary, and then there's one here in Durham. It's in a little shopping strip.
You should come up with like an ad read for Shake Shack.
It's near a Trader Joe's. Yeah, I might promote Shake Shack on the next creativity theory.
So, like, if you were, I want to go back to the radicalization, thing we're talking about. Like, what movie would you show someone like that's anti-Semitic? What do you think that could like radicalize or de-radicalize them? Like to like open them with Jews. Like, I'm not starting with a Woody Allen movie.
So wait, you're saying someone who hates Jews trying to convince them to not, and it can't be 21 Jump Street.
It can't be 21 Jump Street.
Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Elaborate.
No.
Jesus. I've never seen Scooby-Doo 2. I've seen one of the Scooby-Doos. Did you really like it? Did it really resonate with you? Or
I don't feel comfortable answering that.
Oh my God, dude.
You asked me which movie would reverse radicalization
and anti-Semitism because was it so like amazing? Did it make you cry? Or you don't even.
What did I just tell you? I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, you're not comfortable.
Talking about my own personal relationship with that movie. I just answered the question.
Dude, as someone, because you majored in film, like what's a movie that you can't stand? Like just fucking people love it or people, or have mixed feelings about it, but like it makes you sick to your goddamn stomach.
So I can't give you a specific movie, and I also want to say too what kind of film student I was.
Yeah.
I would skip most of the screenings. Like I got away with skipping like 80% of the screenings through the entire major. Wow. I only had a few classes where the teachers were very adamant about making sure, like they took attendance at the beginning of class and at the end. Most of them just did normal attendance, would take it at the beginning, do a lecture, then put on the movie, and at that point, the lights are out in the theater. You can just get up and go. And the reason I did that is because when I first started the major, I kept giving things a chance. I kept being like, all right, I'm here to learn, watch movies, and be exposed to stuff that I normally wouldn't watch. And then they just kept showing like shit that it was just
never in your mind.
Well, it just bored the shit out of me. And I'm also just like, I feel like, if we took the three main things that I'm very like focused on, and that's comedy, music, and film. I have like a hierarchy of which one of those things I'm like the most snobbish in, and then the one I'm least snobbish in. So like comedy, I feel like I'm the most snobbish about.
Really?
Like, yeah, I barely like. It feels more accurate for me to say I hate stand up more than it does for me to say I love it at this point.
Oh, it's more of a hate relationship. It's like,
well, I love doing it.
Yeah.
And there are specific comedians I really love, but when you take in like most stand-up that you watch, I'm like, man, I really hate this art. I hate everyone doing it.
Yeah.
It sucks. This is such a low, terrible form of art. But the people that do it really well, it's my favorite thing. Movies is probably next to that, where like I feel like I don't hate most movies. I just don't like them. They don't excite me. I don't want to watch them again. I'm not a film buff. Like, I'm not in love. Like, I love the shit out of David Lynch. His stuff just speaks to me like no other filmmaker stuff
What's
does.
your favorite David Lynch film?
It's really hard to pick, but I think I can tell you like my top. He only has 10 features. So at my top 5, maybe in no particular order, are Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, probably Wild at Heart, and Inland Empire would be the other two.
Okay.
Up there for me. But then the Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me movie, love that. And maybe his 3rd season of Twin Peaks The Return that he did on Showtime, that might be my favorite thing he's made. It's really
Never
good.
seen Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's good. The first 2 original seasons from the 90s, they're great. But the 3rd season, in context with those first 2, and also the movie, it's really incredible art. But yeah, and then music, I feel like I'm the most open to music.
Okay.
I don't like a lot of mainstream stuff. But I think I'm more open to give, like, I have a much wider palette with music. I like a lot of different weird shit.
You're very versatile as a recording artist.
Thanks.
I think, I've listened to your albums, coming into the scene, and you've done like the ending to the Bad Boy album was really hitting, and I never. It's weird to see that side out of you, and when it comes out in your like rap and stuff like that, it's good context. It's good. It's a good opening, and that's what I appreciate out of art. Because sometimes I feel like I can overproduce and over accentuate, because it's all about flooding an algorithm to a lot of artists, a lot of content creators. And I feel like that's very hacky to say it, or damages your brand, but I think it damages your identity in a sense.
What does?
To overexpose yourself, or to, because personality wise or personal wise, when it came to your music, you didn't have that side of you. It was just this hypothetical slapstick shit that was hilarious. But then like there's sides of you about a girl is a good song. So
are you talking about like how in the more recent albums I've started being more real and like not being this slapstick character that like Camboy Smith has been?
Yes.
And because
I knew Camboy Smith. Now I know Cameron Smith.
Yeah. How like Cameron Smith and Camboy Smith have kind of become amalgamated over the last several albums. Yeah.
They have. And there's a bunch of other characters that you do that have astounded me, because I want to know these characters' struggles and other, like, I know the humorous parts of them. I've watched it on stage. I've watched it in shit show. I've watched it in different sides, different mediums, if you will. What brings joy to Simon Adkins?
I feel like Simon Adkins is very simple. Like, he appreciates simple pleasures, like just having a successful visit to the grocery store.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
And like
that's wholesome.
Maybe something he likes, like some sort of particular frozen food is on sale.
That terrifies me that I'll end enjoying that. Do you know what I mean?
It terrifies you that you feel like you would
oh my
enjoy
god,
it?
I can't wait for the eggplant parm at Wegmans. You know what I mean? Fucking pull to my brain if I'm excited about frozen food in a grocery store.
But I also think the other side of that is Simon can get really hung up on getting, like bothered by really little things.
Yeah. Like what?
Like COVID. Like he probably.
Fuck yeah, dude. I was trying to go up for like a high five, but yeah. Hell yeah. Let's get that on the pot. The most awkward. Oh. So that's what bothers, but that's what brings him joy. So it's very mundane things that like bring out these characters, you think?
Well, that's Simon.
But then there's Manny Miércoles, which is one of my favorites.
Miguel Miércoles.
Miguel, I'm sorry.
So because I listened to our old episode, you called him Manny, and I didn't correct you, so I was like, I have to correct you.
You have to correct me now. I'm glad so sorry. Thank you. Miguel, Miguel, who's definitely a top G in his own mind.
Exactly. That's basically my version of Andrew Tate. That is, dude, I should bring Miguel back.
You should. This is the perfect time to bring him back.
What are you talking about, bro? I'm the top G. If you don't say I'm the top G, I'll come in your face, bro. That's it. That's the next shit show. It's Miguel Miércoles versus Andrew Tate. All right, settle down.
I know. Yo, remember the family that fucks each other?
The Sherberts? Yes. I love the Sherberts. That was so fun to make, too.
Louis Bishop playing the mother. That's
when he comes in there.
Because if you know Louis Bishop, he's a very, like, corporate dude. Like, you know, he
can do that. Dude. He can do that. He's got that ability to have that corporate side and like play these like cleaner, more PG-13 gigs and do the business and be a businessman. But his real sense of humor, man, like I remember like the first year I was starting with Bishop, he had this great bit. And it wasn't Bishop's first year. It was my first year in round.
This one was Nut Street, right?
Nut Street. Yeah. It was 2012. And this bit, I still think it's genius to this day. Where he was talking about like his fear of like, do you ever get afraid that maybe you're retarded and like people don't tell you? Like all the time. And he was talking about all the time, dude. He was talking about his stairs, like, you know, like I might feel like I'm doing all right up here, and then get off stage, and then people would come up and be like, "That was really good, Louis. That was really good." Like, it was really. I know you were really funny.
Yeah, exactly. People talk to me like that, I have a panic attack, dude. Like, oh my god, yeah. The Sherberts was a classic. Who was supposed to play your mentally disabled son? Because you had another bit where you like managed CC's Pizza and you had a son.
Yeah, this is a good story. In fact, I actually just talked about it with the episode I did with Zach Burke.
Yeah.
So it took me 3 tries to cast that role because my immediate.
It was a tough role to get.
Well, it was. I think I had the concept for the film, and the comedians were familiar with the character Chris Spike because it started as a bit, like a character. I went up there and I just had this bit where I talked about from Chris's perspective. We just opened up these CC's Pizzas, and I have this autistic son, and blah 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 blah, and
backstory is incredible.
Right. And so then I just had this idea. I was like, all right, I want to make a dramatized version of like just a slice of this guy's life and what's going to happen in that little slice. And so I was like, I need someone to play my autistic son. And my first ask was Tyler Wood.
He would never do it.
Well, yeah, he immediately, and him and I were friends and he was doing shit in Shit Show. But he immediately was like, I'm not doing that. And I was just like, all right. But then Billy Rain was nearby. And he was like, fuck it, man, I'll do it. And I was like, yeah, really? He was like, yeah, man, send me the script. I was like, all right, well, I'll finish it up and I'll send you the script. And so I finished up the script, sent it to him like within a few days. And then later, like within 24 hours, I missed a call from him. So he left me a voicemail and I listened to the voicemail. And the voicemail after he read the script was, hey, man, I just read the script and, yeah, I didn't know it was gonna be like that bad, you know. He's like, I don't think.
I think you did tell me this. The voicemail.
I don't think I can do this. And then I don't know how much quickly after that, it must have been pretty quick to solve the problem. But I was like, who the fuck am I? I was like, Addison Crowell, he'll do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why he wasn't my first choice. And like I always say, I think he played that role perfectly because this was my direction to him. I was like, I want you to play in a way that it's a really offensive portrayal of a retarded person. Like it's over the top and it's really inappropriate.
Makes sense. However,
it's not unreal. Like you have seen ones who are that bad.
Yes.
Right? And so that's I was like, and I think he really nailed it to where it is this slapsticky over the top. Like, this is so not an appropriate way to portray a retarded person.
Hey, I have a question to ask you.
But I've seen ones like that.
Yes, I know you have. And your impression on stage, phenomenal. With the Me Too Down syndrome bit, you know what I'm talking about with Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great bit. Do you still have that? You should bring that back.
Yeah, I might still use that.
It's got to come back. You know what I mean? I know this sounds weird. There's like old bits that I have that I'm like, is this even worth it? And then I'm like, yeah, it was funny at the time. Like I like, you know, you probably have files of when you did it in like 2016, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those I'm becoming less afraid of that as I keep going on and doing this. Even though I'm like, you know, still in stand-up, whatever, I still want to look back and see like, okay, it wasn't all bad. You know what I mean? There were still some nuggets of like a premise there.
Yeah. I think there are plenty of times, because I think a lot of times I go up there with only a premise I think is funny and I have no idea how to wrap it up. And I try to trust myself, given having a good enough setup and having the pressure of being in front of a bunch of people and not want to look like a dumbass, letting that pressure make me figure it out in the moment. I don't always do it. Yeah. But that tends to be the way a lot of times I figure things out, because and sometimes I know where it's going to go. Sometimes I do have the punchline and I know where it's going to go. But a lot of times I just start with, this is a funny premise, and I'll just talk it out in front of people and maybe try to find something.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of bits where like, it's old ones where like I'll go back to an old video or an old note and I'll be like, damn, I still really like this premise and I never figured that out. And then now it's years later and it's like, no, I know exactly how to wrap that up. Yeah. I have a really great idea for that.
Dude, yeah, I used to have this one like the best blowjobs come from broken homes. It was something like really fucked up, and I was like, because crazy pussy correlates, buddy. Like it was the alliteration. I wasn't looking at the right. I just looked at it as what sounds weird or interesting to the ear. And I don't know. That's I think I've become weirdly overstructured. And that's what stressed me out about stand-up for a little bit. And that's why I had to like take time off and then just do it for fun. And then all that, you know, remember that's the core value of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like there's, this is a fucking way off topic question. But like, you know how you said you would make a person play like an accentuated version of someone with Down syndrome or retardation. And this is an ask. And I don't know if this is a big ask, but if you need someone to act overly like Jewish or super Semitic, I hope to God I'm your first call.
Okay.
Like
I'll keep that in mind.
Like I will wear the whole getup, dude. Like I'll wear the payas.
Yeah.
Like if you want me to knock on low income housing and like, you know, hold out my hat for rent, like I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good to know, man. We'll see if I.
You never go that route though.
I might.
You might.
I might.
You might.
Yeah.
You should do like an Adam Sandler ripoff of a movie. You could do that too. Uncut Gems, but like a worse gambling
Cut
addict.
Gems versus the same movie, it's just everyone's circumcised.
Yeah. You're quick on your feet, dude.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so? I think you're pretty quick-witted.
Sometimes I'm on it, sometimes I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, you seem like you sleep well at night. Like you seem like you know, you have a structured schedule.
I do now.
Yeah.
As much as I can. I mean, I still kind of have a chaotic schedule, but I try to.
It's hard to pin you down, Cameron. That sounds rapey. I'm so sorry.
I bet it'd be really easy to pin me down if you had the muscles.
Yeah, I'm not jacked. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, I mean, as I've gotten older, I've grown to value a lot of habits that are more geared towards preserving my health.
Yeah.
And because like the thing that matters most to me in this life is the ability to continue creating and making things and having not just the time, but the energy and the resources. And the resources is a constant struggle, but the time and the energy is definitely and then the time is probably the secondary struggle, but the energy, that's a struggle you can manage right now.
Oh, yeah.
And that starts with, doing things like prioritizing sleep and prioritizing diet and prioritize, like, as fun as drugs are and as high as they get you and as much energy as they can give you, there is the down curve of that and the destabilizing factor of it. And I've just found that even though I have been hyper productive historically during periods, and I've never, had like crazy drug use, it's more just like hippie speedball for me, where it's like drinking lots of caffeine and then getting blazed and sitting down on the computer. And
dude, I remember that. I remember those times that you were on that.
Right. And
but you were still getting shit done too, which we would slow me the hell down.
Yeah. But the downside of that was, I would have these days where I just crash from all of it. And I would have to just recover. And also my emotions were extremely unstable and like they didn't make sense with what was going on in my world. Like it was just, because I think when you take a lot of the reason we use a lot of these things like alcohol, pot, and caffeine is really are like numbing agents for our emotions, so that yeah,
it's escapism for sure.
Yeah, and the emotions don't just disappear because you took a drug. They go in you, and then when the thing starts to wear off, they start to crawl up. So it's like I'm feeling things from something that happened like months ago that I just haven't processed. And then you just build all that up over years, and your world just becomes confusing, and you're depressed and anxious suddenly for no reason, or you can't figure out why. And then it I don't know, the physiological piece of the puzzle I found is really important to develop these habits of
the routine, but also like, are you exercising? Are you going to the gym a lot?
And that's probably the more recent thing. I've always known, and I've always been someone that goes outside and goes on walks. Like I'm
touch grass.
More of a long walk guy. And I've had little phases where like I'll incorporate more strenuous exercise, but I've never really been that much into going to the gym. And I've popped in there a few times over the past like half decade, but now I actually go to the gym like every day.
Wow.
If not every other day. And do a lot of like strength training and hypertrophy and some cardio and stuff, and still get my long walks and getting sun and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I
feel like I got to do something else because I've been playing basketball for years, and my ankles will give out or something else, like joints will give out, but I want to be able to. For me, it's been gaining weight. I don't know. Do you get fat easy? Do you have a slow metabolism?
Not as easy as a lot of people, but I think so. I don't think I have. My weight has fluctuated between like 155 pounds and 200 pounds.
Damn.
And
200 pounds? Did I know you when you were 200?
Yeah. It was.
You hide it well with those Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah. The Hawaiian shirts definitely helped me hide 200 pound gut. But it's also weird too because, like 200 pounds was me at early COVID when I had that huge beard, Bad Boy album era.
Yeah.
And so that was me at my heaviest.
Wow.
And then like a year later, around Love Songs for Absolutely No One era, I was really going hard with changing my diet, and I went to like a ketogenic diet.
Yeah, were you doing like raw meat and shit?
I did do raw meat, but that was like maybe a year and about a year or half a year later.
Jesus.
And that's where it gets interesting. So when I went to keto, that's when I just suddenly shed a lot of that COVID fat, and I went down from 200 to like 155 pounds within like 2 months, and
Nice.
And then I switched to like going animal-based carnivore, really prioritizing eating red ruminant meat, some fruit.
Hey, does Phipps have the connection for fresh meat, by the way?
No, Phipps is not a meat person. He's vegan.
Yeah, okay.
He does grow
vegetables
and fruits on his micro farm around his house. But then after I did that for a while, and then there was a pocket in there where I was eating like 3 months where I was just eating nothing but raw meat. I still eat raw meat. I still eat raw organ meats every day.
Like liver and shit?
Mm-hmm. Liver, heart, kidney, and testicle. I eat that every day.
Balls? You testicles, dude?
Yeah. Wow. Don't laugh at me, dude. There's nothing funny about putting testicles in your mouth every morning and sucking them down and enjoying it.
Nature's teabag, dude.
Yeah. But so then I've been gaining weight back because of all the meat, but it's muscle.
Yeah.
Like I have one of those smart scales that you can like put your bare feet on, and it'll take all sorts, like it'll get your metabolic age. Yeah. It'll tell you your subcutaneous fat, your visceral fat, your muscle and like skeletal density and like bone density.
Oh, that's
yeah, how much lean mass you have on you.
Nice.
So like I can see the data from like where I was COVID fat, it was a lot of fat and not a lot of lean.
Yeah.
But since I've been eating a lot of meat and going to the gym, my weight went back up to close to 200. I'm like a little under 190 right now because I've been shedding the fat by doing like 1 meal a day intermittent fasting on top of eating a lot of meat.
Jesus.
So now like I'm in the process of getting rid of my excess fat, but continuing to build muscle weight.
There's a part of me where I think if I just gained a bunch of weight, I would have been funnier, or I would be funnier. But I don't think that lifestyle would, that it would burn fast. You know what I mean? Like I would die.
I have found through my weight fluctuations that it does seem to be easier to make the audience laugh when I'm a little heavier.
Yeah.
And when I start to lose weight and I am
what is it about being a fat dude that just like people just they feel like they can open up to you?
Maybe. And I think it's more the opposite thing. It's when you're skinnier and better looking, people have like a subconscious like, oh, he's good looking. Well, let's see if he's funny.
Yeah.
Or if you're fat, I feel like people are more like, come on, give him this. He's funny.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. He's like, he's ruining all the other aspects of life. Let's see if he kills this.
And it might even be this too, because there's like, the aspects for men in the mating world, like humor, I think is typically a more masculine thing that men have developed as their way of like flirting with women.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like what I just explained of there being that kind of like other people in the crowd going, oh, you're good looking. It's kind of like, oh, he's good looking. He's a threat in that way. He better not also be a threat that he's funny too.
But you also have your hair as well. You're not like bald yet too. Because that's another thing I'm worried about too. Because I'll be going bald soon or whatever, you know?
I don't know. For some reason, I don't feel worried about me.
You don't think so?
Losing hair. No.
I don't. You know what it is? If I just have like a Mao cut, you know what I mean? I'll just shave it. You know, I'll just have to lean into going bald. Yeah. But it'll be weird to be fat and bald because you got that little like credit card slit in the back. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
That little like roll of fat that you get when you're bald that people see. Yeah, that's my irrational fears. You know, a rational fear is like being like stabbed in a rock. You know what I mean? Or like being attacked. You know,
stabbed in a rock.
In Iraq, like I
thought you were talking.
You know
about
what I mean? Or being shot up at a school
rock.
or whatever. That's a rational fear, not losing my hair. You know, I think.
Would you ever move to Iraq for fun? Would you ever facetiously live in Iraq?
What would there be to do? And plus, you know, I probably have to get a new passport. You know, I don't think they would like, you know, Israel stamped on my passport. I don't think they'd like that.
Israel or Palestine?
Oh, man. Do you want me to answer?
It's up to you, dude.
It's up to me. For the film industry, Israel. For anyone that fucking got vaxxed, Palestine. Not even got vaxxed. I don't know. Palestine is. I've been. Have you been? You want me to tell you what it was like?
I've never been out of the country.
You've never been out of the country?
Yeah, I have a passport. But
should go, dude. Where would you go?
Nowhere's the best country on the planet.
Dude, yeah.
I got a passport just to say I got one.
You should go to like Canada and like
no.
Yeah, dude, you should.
Dude, fuck Canada.
I know, dude, it sucks, but you should film a video of you being an obnoxious American tourist because you have a great gift of being able to hold a character, and not many people can in comedy. They break, or they just don't lean into it. They don't believe themselves. They don't sell themselves on it.
They don't commit to the bit.
They don't commit to the bit.
Yeah.
And bit committers are a rare gem to find, man. All right, where am I fucking going with this? You ever think about going back to UNCW and doing like a campus speak and just fucking with them? I think about that all the time.
Yeah, like Sam Hyde.
Yeah.
The 2070 paradigm shift.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had the opportunity, I would definitely do it. I don't know necessarily if I'd fuck with them. Yeah.
Do you think you would blackpill them? Or?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on the context. Like, I feel like the only things that would make sense to have me speak there is if they had me speaking about film while presenting a film I made, or talking about various films, and just talking about my philosophy on that sort of thing. And same with like creative writing, having me there and just talking about my creative writing philosophy. I'd be interested in genuinely doing those things.
You'd be good as counterculture for the creative writing program. It needs it.
I agree, and that's exactly what I feel like I would be, is kind of telling them like, hey, you have a few really great professors here. The rest of them are telling you a bunch of wrong things. They're telling you that there's rules to this, and there's not. And you should listen to know what people think the rules are so you can play with it, but do not listen to this guy who's telling you you have to revise everything you do, or this guy that's telling you the word said is the only word you can use when you're describing dialogue,
of course,
which is a real thing. One of my creative writing professors forced on us, and I was like, well, I'll do this in your class so you don't take off points. But
the nonfiction things, like, I wrote a nonfiction piece, I remember, and she said, and she like completely dismissed this and like gave me like a D on it, and she's like, this didn't happen, and I've told you this story, and I've told this story on stage where I shat myself in an IDF recruiting office. I've told you this, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, this is how I was so bad at drinking. I was supposed to go into the IDF when I was before going to a college. I basically took a gap year because my parents were like, you're not gonna go to college. You gotta figure out your shit. We're sending you over here. And that was my whole plan. Long story short, I was drinking a lot. So much so I was hungover on my recruitment office meeting in Tel Aviv. I go there, I'm like playing Pokemon Go on my phone, I'm waiting, and I feel a fart coming. It's not a fart. I shart my pants. And I'm panicking. I go to the bathroom. I'm like, I just, the underwear's gone. Fuck. That's a body in Reno.
You really into that, bro. That's fucking.
So I walk out. I just fucking, I hear my name called, like in the Ari Son Friedman, like in the weird Israeli accent, and I'm like, that like stress walk that you do. You know what I mean? We all have a stress walk, and I just stress walked the way out, basically chafing pretty much in like fucking just pants. What was I wearing? I was wearing jeans. Yeah, because I had a recruitment office. Like as soon as it was maybe like it was in September, and I got there mid-August, so I had like 2 weeks to like just party, get to know people, find connections. But I had this recruitment office meeting, so that was my plan to pay rent, do everything. And I ended up checking out. Well, it was mainly because I was drinking a fuck ton. So, and the recruitment office got back to me. He's like, Harrison, why did you miss your recruitment office meeting? I have a drinking problem. I don't want to say I shot myself, to the fucking
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I have a drinking. I need to. So what I did was I ended up working for a sports journalist. Ended up walking dogs. It was, you know, for an 18-year-old kid, that wasn't the worst gig. So
yeah,
man. But yeah, I had a creative writing teacher who's like, this didn't happen. I was like, it did. I shot myself. I could have caught rocks professional. I could have been the Zohan.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I was drinking like Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. You know.
Yeah.
You ever have a problem with drinking?
No. And it's kind of a surprise.
Lucky son of a bitch, dude.
My dad definitely did.
Yeah. I think we talked about this.
Yeah. But I've always been able to handle having a drink every once in a while and never
crashing and burning.
The worst drinking phase I've ever had was probably towards the end of 2021 when I had a sales job. I just had a lot of money. And I was able to just like go out to the bars and
holy shit, what were you selling?
Employee recognition programs to big corporate chains over the phone.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and so like when I would go out, I mean, having a 9-to-5 job, one, it means like you're free all the evenings, and then I would go hang out with my comedy friends, and then just go downtown and hang out with chicks and buy them drinks and shit. And I've never been like that. And so it was just like I was experiencing that for a little bit. But still, I
thought you were Don Draper.
I would like I would really limit my alcohol consumption. I really wouldn't. I would typically 2 was the most I'd have. Sometimes I might have 4 or 5, but
never 8, 9.
I mean, the drunkest I've ever been was 2017 when Brian Regan came to town.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
Yeah. And he kept buying everyone shots of gin. And
tough.
And tough. I know before he started doing that, I mean, he bought me like 2 or 3 Stellas. I drank those, and then every shot of gin that was put in my hand, I mean, I had probably at least 15 drinks that night. And I didn't totally black out, but I think I was blacking in and out by the time Troy Coleman called me an Uber outside of Blue Post, put me in it, and then I just remember like hobbling up my stairs and then waking up the next morning in a puddle of my own piss. Damn.
Yeah. Your front step?
No. In my bed.
House?
In my bed. Like my bed was covered in piss.
Oh, you're incapacitated. Damn.
Yeah.
Shout out to Troy Coleman, dude. I wish I had friends like that. I did not have any friends like that in Israel, dude. I had to suffer on my own for sure. That was my own doing, but like, you know, it shows that you had people around you that were like, this dude's fucked up. Let's help him. The character around you was good.
Yeah. I like, you know, the guys around there, comedy scene, at least during that era.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like the guys there now.
You've seen eras change, dude.
I have seen eras change. I have favorite eras. I have eras I enjoyed and eras I really hated. Eras I don't vibe with. Yeah.
What's your most favorite era?
The original Nut Street era I came into. I mean, there was a golden era of Deadcrow that I think was between 2014 and I want to say it extends to 2018, but I think like it kind of the best part of that era, like 2014 is like when it started at its lowest, and then it went up, and then I think 2015, 16 were when it was the best and the most fun, and then 17, 18 it started to decline again, and then by 19 I hated it, and I wouldn't say I hated it, but to me the open mic at that point was a horrible show.
Oh, it was bad.
And like, you know, it used to be an open mic that, you know, there were people lining up outside the stairs to get in. It was packed out. And now they're suddenly getting upset with me for walking people because barely anyone was there. Yeah. Turns to me and he goes, "I do not accept your apology." And I was just, and in my head, I was like, all right, that's the last olive branch. And I just kind of like smiled and kind of got excited about it. I was like, he doesn't know what's coming. he doesn't know what's about to happen.
Oh my gosh.
And so then
Bye.